Good day, everyone. My name is Kevin Morden, and I was assigned to give to you the report about justice according to the teachings of Saint Augustine. And here you can see on my slide the title, Solidarity and Justice as Augustinian Values, with the quote, "One heart and one mind to the way to God, where solidarity binds us and justice defines us." And here before us is a picture of Lady Justitia, now, which is I think we all know that she is the Roman goddess and mythological personification of justice and moral force, and she is the inspiration of this so-called as Lady Justice. And you can see here, I think it's already the prior knowledge within among us that all of this stuff, the stuff that she's holding on, the posture, the blindfold have all meanings. And like for example, the scales represents the careful weighing of evidence and arguments, the sword which symbolizes authority and enforcement of the law, and the blindfold which represents impartiality, ensuring justice, which is should be administered without bias or corruption. So to continue, we have here the foundational definitions, and the first one is restorative justice. Well, historically defined as giving to each their due, justice establishes the objective moral framework for human interaction, and without solidarity, justice risks becoming cold, legalistic, and transactional, because true justice should correct systematic imbalance and to restore harmony. As to what I have understand it, restorative justice is a system of criminal justice that focuses on rehabilitation through reconciliation between the two parties, instead of like asking what law was broken and how do we punish the personas. It asks who was harmed and how do we repair the damage, which I think is more helpful. It's because that sometimes I think it's trying to help the cycle to diminish the committings of another crime towards another. It's because of the focus is on rehabilitation instead of recommitting it. Okay, so here to the next slide, another foundational definition before we truly understand the discipline of justice is the active solidarity, which is not merely a vague feeling of compassion for others, but in the classical tradition, it is deliberate structural commitment to the common good, and it demands that we view our neighbors not as competitive individuals, but as members of a single interconnected community where vulnerability of one is the concern of all. So solidarity, I think, is the glue that holds communities together, representing mutual support, shared goals, and sense of oneness among individuals facing similar changes. And I think the Filipinos are very famous because of this. It's because that we are actually united, especially sometimes, for example, in times of crisis and and disaster relief, natural disasters, and solidarity emerges within the neighbors and pool of resources from one Filipinos to another, volunteerism and support to those who have lost everything. The Filipinos are always there. Moving forward, in the Augustinian tradition, solidarity and justice are rooted to the command of loving one's neighbor as oneself, and they are both of them are inseparable values. Which there is true charity. There is a firm, persevering commitment to the common good, prioritizing the needs of the vulnerable and ensuring fairness for all. I think what it's trying to tell us is that solidarity and justice should be intertwined with one another to be able to portray love within the community and the people nearby us. We also sometimes to have to be biased for those who are truly vulnerable, to be able to give compassion and sincerity with the aid that we provide, ensuring fairness to everyone. And for true justice requires true actions also. So we have to be able to sometimes empathize and sympathize the feelings of others in order for us to truly aid everyone's needs. So next, I have here the core values. One of the core values, there are three. So the first one is the common good first. According to Saint Augustine's rule dictates that one must place the common good before their own personal interest. So I think this is self-explanatory, but I think Saint Augustine explicitly ties the concept of the common good to the very nature of love. So I think we will still go back to the word love, and according to him, charity prefers the common good to private good, not private good to the common good, because the spiritual and moral maturity is judged precisely by sometimes the shift of the perspective of a person. As a person grows in genuine love, they naturally begin prioritizing the collective health, peace, and the spiritual being of the neighbors over their own advancement of private. And I think this is already familiar to every one of us when it comes to putting putting the common good first is sometimes a scam that we usually hear, especially during before elections. Now, so yeah, well, kidding aside, the Augustinian tradition actually putting the common good first is not just an idealized social preference, but it is a rigorous counter-cultural spiritual discipline, and it serves as the structural baseline for how communities must organize themselves to prevent individualism from fracturing human relationships. So the selfishness sometimes of the people is one of the factors why the bonds are actually broken. So one of the core values that should be taught to us, and not just be taught to us, but for us to also to implement outside of let's say for example this four corners of the classroom, is that we have to not be selfish, but at the same time we have to put everyone's common good first and not our own personal biases and interests. So the other core value is the charity and the care for the poor. For the Augustinians, helping the poor is not merely an act of generous pity. It is a fundamental demand of justice, and Saint Augustine famously taught that charity is no substitute for justice withheld, meaning that addressing systemic inequality is a moral obligation. This is one of the core value that I really liked it upon reading and searching for the teachings of the justice. I think Saint Augustine is trying to point out to us that helping other people, not just the poor ones, if you ask me, it's a moral obligation. It's non-negotiable. Kumbaga, it's not very expensive to be kind to everyone. So, well, it's charity and care for the poor is stripped of any sentimentality for us people. We have to help if in any ways that we can. Lastly, we have one in mind and heart. So the ultimate Augustinian goal is one in heart and mind on the way to God, and it serves as the bedrock for solidarity. It calls the members to recognize that everyone is connected, breaking down barriers between order and the wider community to share time, resources, and expertise. I think what it's trying to tell us is from the three core values. Now, the first one was the common good first. Is the action, and the second one is the care for the poor. I think it is the duty. So this core value, one in mind and heart, is the final beautiful state of a restored just community. So in all fairness and stuff, we have to be no matter how diverse we are, as long as we are in solid solidarity, I think we can perform empathy and sympathy towards other people to portray the true meaning of justice. So to end this with a thought, I think we already understand that solidarity and justice are inextricably linked, because true justice cannot be achieved without standing together. So as we leave here today, let us remember that justice is not something we simply wait for. It is something we build together. Our individual struggles share common root, and our strength lies in our unity. Let us continue to link arms, look out for one another, and stand unwavering until fairness and equity are a reality for everyone. Thank you everyone for listening. Have a nice day.